Collectors going digital and Jack collects beyond the drop. Let's collect, let's connect. Beyond the drop. Collect. We collect with collectors going digital and Jack collects beyond the drop. Let's collect, let's connect.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Drop, the show that Collectors Gone Digital and I put together for you guys every Monday live at 1 p.m. EST. And I mean, not just Mondays, here and there, also on other days, but normally on Mondays, guys. So great that you're here. Josh, welcome, my friend.
Welcome back. Yeah, I appreciate you doing the show yesterday. We're doing a little back-to-back show. We have another guest for today's show. Going to be talking a little bit about Panini.
Yes.
And so, yeah, he's going to be popping in the next 30 minutes or so. So we want to cover some community posts like always in the meantime. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions about Panini or just want to learn more in general, make sure to stay tuned. So.
Yeah, honestly, I'm hyped. I'm hyped because I just saw like the record-breaking sales of the Panini blockchain here and there, but like I'm really excited to tap into that fandom as well. Because to be fair, I don't know that much about the Panini blockchain, and I'm thrilled. And yeah, but let's go, buddy.
I also heard Paul talking a little bit about it with you yesterday.
Yes.
So
yes,
yeah, all right.
Yeah, but he's also like a huge sports collector.
Yeah. But we got VeVe Zombie in the chat. What up, man? And Rob Cooks. Rob has been killing it lately. Actually, both of you guys have. I don't want to exclude Zombie either, but yeah, you guys have both been crushing it. So keep up the content, guys. But yeah, Jan, do you want to cue the intro and then we'll get ready with the first post?
I would say let's do so.
Let's connect. Beyond the drop.
Alrighty.
Here we are. All right, so first one. Oh, actually, I gotta share my audio. I just realized. We're gonna go over that Stickerverse video. So let me go back to full screen. VeVe Stickerverse says, actually, let me just go full screen for this. 1 second. My bad. There we go. So they say, where did Stickerverse begin? Here, Jacob Elmon, head of VeVe Stickerverse now, shares the story behind how the Stickerverse concept first came alive and why the team believed Telegram was the perfect place to bring it to life. So stay tuned for part 2 with David and Jan. Let me know if you can hear this.
Fam, I'm here with Jacob from Elmon.
Yes.
Okay.
Next, David.
Is it loud enough?
Yeah, it's fine.
CEO of VeVe Digital Collectibles, and we are talking about Stickerverse today. Gentlemen, tell me how the Stickerverse concept first came alive.
Yeah, so Telegram stickers have been around for a while now. It was an opportunity that we saw for VeVe to go into a new vertical. VeVe is currently focusing on 3D premium digital licensed assets and comics, and now we're bringing VeVe into a new project called the Stickerverse. This is going to the Telegram users. So it's on Ton, it's a different blockchain, it's a new audience. Telegram has around 1 billion users that we're going to tap into and introduce them to a new product. You can see here behind David, this is a new mascot that's been created just for the Stickerverse. Gives it a point of differentiation. And these are the first drops that we're going to be doing on VeVe.
Okay, VeVe fam, I'm here with Jake.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously spoke about it in private, and I have to be honest here. I'm not completely sold on Stickerverse, to be fair, but maybe also because I'm not the biggest Telegram user. But guys in the chat, please let us know your thoughts here. And like the point he made with like tapping into 1 billion people, yeah, right on one hand, but I mean, not all of the 1 billion people will use like the VeVe stickers. So yeah,
I laughed a little bit when I heard that.
yeah, maybe we can convert a good amount of them. That would also be great. But like what I'm wondering, and we will probably have David on soon on the show, and we will talk with him about it. But like what I think when I see the stickers, I feel like it's like a really fast casual product, and like VeVe built like their brand and their reputation on premium licensed IP. So I'm not 100% sure how this comes together, but I guess they will have some kind of master plan, and they are probably better than we are in terms of making connections and the marketing side of that.
And Jan, I'll let you be the only one to talk about this right now, because I'm still going to be too rough on them if I talk about it right now. I just does not resonate with me at all. But VeVe Zombie says, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I'm a little confused what exactly the Stickerverse is. Stickers you can use on Telegram.
I mean, the movement was like, okay, now he fires off like a big summary, and then bing.
Not going there yet. Nope. But let's go to
VeVe Zombie. Sorry, Josh. VeVe Zombie. I feel me and Josh feel like the same way, and I think they had a few hiccups here and there to frame it nicely in terms of the launch, and I think it could have been better, but just my 2 cents here. Wes, great to have you in the chat, my man.
Go back full screen. On to the next one. So we got one from Will Weinrob. Incredibly excited for the Digitoys mobile app. The team absolutely crushed it, and this latest version feels phenomenal. Who wants a sneak peek? There it is. He actually, I can't remember which stream this was on. It was a few weeks ago now, but he did actually show a little sneak peek of the app on the True Media podcast when he was, I think they were doing a blind box opening. And from what he just showed one page. It looked really nice. Yeah,
I mean, you've texted me after. Was it texting or voice message? Doesn't matter. But you were kind of excited about how it all looked, and you were like, "Hey, you feel like they did a good job on that."
I'm a big fan of Will, because I think he's doing I think he's doing several things right, but like one word he uses a lot when it comes to the platform, like the web app, and then also when he was explaining how they're building the mobile app, is tactile. Like they want to make it feel as tactile as possible, and like those little things might.
What does that mean?
Like a lot of like, if you push a button, it might sink in a little bit and then expand afterwards. Like it's not just like a, or like if you switch between a page, there might be like a little page transition, like a fade or something like that. Like making the app feel more lively, like alive.
Okay.
It might sound stupid to somebody at first, but it like those little things really do build the overall experience.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said it to you. We have like mini versions of that in our Collectoria app, and I noticed it right away in terms of like, for example, liking a post or so, and that really resonated with me. So if you mean that, then I totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like the other thing that he's focusing on is the short attention spans. So that also has me more intrigued with their app, because I want to see how they kind of cater to that. And then they're also just working with some really good like animators. So I don't know if you guys have seen the little clip of the UFO character kind of jumping on the objects after getting like, there's like a portal that opens up in the arcade and then gets sucked into space, and a bunch of the items from the arcade get sucked in, and then they have some really cool little animated clips. But more coming from Digitoys soon.
Nice.
Anything else you want to add, or?
No, not really. I'm really looking forward to that, to be fair. But VeVe Zombie here, well, a verse would imply that there's a place different than Telegram to use your stickers? And I think that's where I'm confused, Wes. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
okay, so it kind of used to be that way. It's not really anymore because more and more companies have hopped on that bandwagon just for SEO reasons. So I'm not saying VeVe did that. They might have done it for that reason, but there's companies that are naming their projects whatever verse because that term is being searched a lot more now.
Yeah. And by the way, Josh and I are totally in one room. I mean, just for your info, I mean, you can clearly tell. Alrighty, let's
pull up
move on,
next
buddy.
post here. So VeVe posted the mid-month leaderboard challenge results are in. Share a massive congrats to the top 10 VeVe affiliates from June 5th, or well, 1st to the 15th. And somebody mentioned this in, it was O'Malley's Space or Doctor Strange or one of those. A good number of these names I've never seen before.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, but you don't know how they promote. Maybe they run ads, specific ads for VeVe themselves or so. I was kind of disappointed that O'Malley wasn't on there, even though I talked to him about that a little bit because he was like, hey, I'm not really onboarding new people, but still, I mean, he could have been under the top 10. So yeah, I felt a little bit like, I felt that for him, to be fair.
Yeah, I understand that. And not recognizing half the names on there, by the way, I meant that as a good thing. I don't mean that as a bad thing. So yeah, like I'm curious how I know Chillin' and Vibin is handing out the cards like face to face.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know this name or this name. So I mean, maybe they're pushing ads or something, but yeah. I'm also curious how much the ads are actually working.
I have no clue. But I mean, Chilling and Vibing definitely deserves like the #1 spot. He is like all the time posting pictures. Hey, onboarded a new woman, man, kid, grandma, grandpa, whatever. He's going for them all. So really, really cool to see that.
Another post from Digitoys. A new medallion has arrived. Everyone who participated in last week's ZooFO escape drop should now have a piece of Digitoys history waiting in their backpack. Oh, wait. That's me. Hang on.
What is... I don't really get like those medallions. What is up with them?
I don't want to speak on these too much yet because I'm kind of still in the process of learning this.
Okay. Okay, then give me a 5,000-foot overview here real quick.
Unless some people in the chat can help out a little bit more with the details. I do love the purple, though. I do love the purple.
Who could have guessed, my friend? Who could have guessed?
1 sec. I just want to see if this is in my backpack because I think I do qualify for that. But the next one is, in case you missed it, some big news from NFC Lisbon. Follow us here for more information coming soon.
Just like collectible on
Play this while I'm trying to open my backpack.
Okay, this is big. Bigger than you might think. Hey, it's Max, fresh off the plane from NFC Summit in Lisbon, and you're not gonna believe it. A crazy thing that happened was a Roblox partnership with VeVe. Roll the footage.
users, when they purchase a collectible on VeVe, they will be able to get a unique in-game code to be used in their Roblox. This will really unlock all your accessories in the game.
Now that is crazy. I can't wait. Stay tuned to all the VeVe socials for more updates on When Roblox. Okay, this is big.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a really, really interesting partnership, right? I mean, we've waited quite long for that. And Max also is now, damn it, I don't have like the specific title, but he leveled up in terms of being hired by VeVe, if you can say
promoted?
that. Yeah, kinda. So, and I think he has such a good energy in those videos. So I think they made the right choice there.
Yeah, Roblox is an interesting one. I think it's the best promo they've gotten to date, for sure. I do have the Digitoys medallion, though. New name, new chapter, same mission. Become the world's premier digital toy company, the medallion of those who embraced the vision and collected the future. So this is the first Digitoys branded medallion.
Yeah.
Since they switched from Cryptoys.
And David in the clip just said like that you get a code that you could redeem in game for a skin or something like that in the Roblox Rabbitverse. Is it Rabbitverse? No, it's not Rabbitverse, or something with rabbits.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
Oh, D, good morning. I mean, midday for Josh, evening for me, but good morning to you guys over there in Hawaii.
What's up, D? And
Is it in or on Hawaii?
Both.
Okay.
I don't know.
D, okay, help me out. Is it in or on Hawaii? I would like to know that.
We have another video from Candy here. Convert your legacy Candy cash balance to platform credits with 100% bonus or cash out. Your call. Window closes at 11:59 p.m. ET. That's tomorrow. Here's a quick
Legacy
walkthrough.
Candy cash balance can convert into platform credit dollars. For the next few days, your Legacy Candy cash balance can convert into platform credit with a 100% bonus. Or you could cash out. Let me show you exactly how you could do both.
At candy.io, you're going to go to the drop-down menu and click the balance tab. This will take you to your Candy Legacy cash balance page. Mine currently shows 0 because I've already converted mine for 100% bonus, but you will have the option to either convert with a bonus or to withdraw via USDC. A look at my balance tab. Mine currently shows the breakdown of my burn credits as well as my newly converted Candy credits with a 100% bonus.
We got a busy summer ahead, so don't forget to take action during the withdrawal window, which closes at 11:59 p.m. Eastern on June 23rd. You want to turn $25 into $50?
You see what Notorious said in the chat here? I can't log into the wallet and lost at least 15 Cryptoys. I've been through both customer service. The new blockchain issue has me locked out. No solution at this point.
Damn.
Huh. It's the first I've heard that, man, but I hope you get that resolved soon.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun on that platform, so.
Yeah, I think there will be a solution over the short to midterm. I mean, at least we hope that for you.
Although you want to see something I pulled this week, and I'm ecstatic about this.
Oh yeah, you were.
My first Mio, and yeah, I mean the eyes are super cool, but I got a glass cloak. You can like see through parts of it here. You can see part of the arm, part of the head in the back, part of the leg going up the body. So super happy with this. Do you think you're actually going to get one? I know you said Eno bought another one.
Yeah, I think sooner or later I will get one. I mean, there are still some of them not minted. Can we take a look at like the overview we've did in private? Like, was it yesterday or so? Because there are some that look dope. Like some look so clean.
Yeah. So you have look at the bear one. I really like this one. It's simple, but the texture on it is really nice.
Yeah, I like the one with the laser eyes.
I didn't realize how many of them are actually glowing. This is Eno's, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Hanato got one like this as well.
Oh, there are way more than I thought that were glowing.
This one's cool too.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen that one. That looks dope. And still like so impressed what they did there with like Mio. I mean, the community is all for it. So,
did anyone in the chat pull a Mio as well? We can take a look at yours if you guys want to put the number in the chat. Really appreciate it, Zombie. Yeah, I'm so happy with that pull. I like the color on this one.
Oh, okay. Here he says it's not the Cryptoys app. It's his wallet connected to the DTAE. Oh, okay. Then maybe the Cryptoys team can't help with that, right? Or do I misunderstand that?
I'm not the one to ask.
Okay.
This one is really, really cool. I do hope you get that resolved though soon, man. That's unfortunate. This reminds me of Harry Potter.
Oh, here, VeVe Zombie. That one is so dope, Josh. Congratulations. I mean, you were quite happy when you first told me about it, and I totally know why. Shane also, morning, gents. You scored an absolute banger on Muyo.
Hey, what up, Shane? Thanks, man. This one with the visor too, like Cyclops. But yeah, guys, all the ones that are in a crate like this. Oh no, they are purchased. Yeah, not listed. I think though we have 124 owners. How many are left? I don't use OpenSea enough. Analytics? Nope.
I hope at least a few.
I think there was a good group left.
Yeah, okay.
So if anyone's still interested.
Yeah. But when I buy my Muyo, I just hope that I don't get a bear or something like that. I wouldn't be happy about that, to be fair.
Really?
No,
I love that design.
that's not my cup of tea, as you can say.
I mean, that's kind of the risk, though. You
Yeah,
take
I know.
piece like that, right? Yeah. But I mean, for the amount of Mios that there are in that collection, there's a lot of just very unique ones that do stand out from the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so what time is it? Our guest should be popping in the next few minutes here. We're going to be going over the Panini platform. So Panini is in the world of sports, trading cards, WNBA, NASCAR, all the brands you see on screen here. And then, yeah, they have signed pieces too. And then I think
big sales, big sales, man.
What was the most recent one though? I think it was 10,000 at 150 a pack.
Yeah, I mean it was 150 a pack, but I don't know how many packs. I think we have to ask our guest that. But yeah, I mean with like the World Cup going right now, people are hyped about soccer. So
150 a pack here. I have not bought any cards from Panini. I do want to start opening some of these though. I also want to start opening some of the One Piece cards.
Yeah. But $150 is, I don't know. That's not like, I would wish for a lower entry point, to be fair, because if you're new to that kind of collecting, I mean, I would probably not put $150 in right now in terms of me having no real clue about the blockchain stuff here.
Yeah, this is kind of a more special pack, trending NFT pack. So they have ones at like $20.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Right here, 20.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair.
Although it was showing the 2 base silver cards each, 1 base non-silver parallel card, 1 FOTL exclusive base parallel card, 1 other card, and then the pack odds, which I'm assuming are the chasers.
Yeah.
Either 1 additional base non-silver parallel card or an insert card. Oh, like special mint? Oh, to 1 of 1. So they have 1 of 1s in the pack. And
yeah, I mean, otherwise, like the Caitlin Clark is also 1 of 1, I guess, the one that sold for 175.
That's probably the chaser, right?
I mean, as I said earlier, I'm really looking to learn more about Panini Blockchain, so I have no clue, buddy.
Actually, digital toys with Tommy. Notorious. You're a WNBA viewer, right? I've seen you comment on X about this. Caitlin Clark is the chaser, but who's the other big name in that league? It's Caitlin Clark and
No clue, buddy.
No, I know
I'm not the right person to ask. But the question is kind of interesting here. What happened to Top Shot? What makes Panini different? Isn't Top Shots like video clips and Panini kind of digital cards, or am I wrong here?
Top Shot has had the clips, yeah. But also Top Shot was NBA. Which is, I mean, I know they have WNBA, but I don't see them promoting the main or the men's league. Reese, that's it. What's her first name though? Jeez. Yes, but yes, Caitlin Clark and oh gosh, that's gonna bug me now.
Google it real fast.
No, but it was Adro. Appreciate it, man. And then they also have some FIFA cards. Great timing with the World Cup. So we'll talk a little bit more about this.
How did you now watch a game of Canada? Still fumbled it, huh? Okay.
I haven't watched any games. I really do want to get to Toronto though, because I mean, from the videos that I see online, Toronto is just a whole other kind of vibe right now.
Yeah. But it's just like a couple hours away from your place, isn't it? Not even.
Well, yeah, give or take. But
yeah, okay.
Toronto is the most multicultural city in the world. So you go to Toronto and there's already a bunch of different cultures. But like, I just want to see what it's like when it's like that on steroids, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally get it, my friend.
Angel Reese. That's the name I always hear as well. Oh, that's her right here.
That's messy.
Yeah, now. This is Caitlin. Because I think they have a rivalry. I think that's why I always hear the two names. Toronto sounds like Honolulu.
Now she's not coming back here. Oh, there.
Angel Reese.
Uh-huh. Okay, never seen her before, but yeah. Frank in the chat, what up, my friend? Hello.
What's up, Frank? We were also looking at this. We'll ask our guest about these as well. These remind me of the Topps Chrome cards, though, with V-Friends. Have you seen those?
The V-Friends cards?
Yeah, with top.
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely have to ask him about that.
I mean,
like the Panini blockchain overall makes like kind of noise in the digital collecting space right now. So yeah, pretty excited to have him on later, or like in a couple minutes, I hope.
Pardon me. By the way, D just reminded me, a huge congratulations to Frank, because he's the one who got the 1-of-1 artist edition from the Mio project. Yeah. So,
but we have to also say here, Frank is also like a really active community member of the Mio crowd. Like I see him posting like stuff with those characters all the time. And he also creates like the 3D printable models and stuff. So well deserved.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'll show what he was doing on X as well, because he did one for me when I posted my Mio. Right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It looks so cool.
Fair. Absolute. Is the one Frank one already revealed?
Yes. He had it on his page.
Oh, show it, because I think I overlooked that one. And guys, if you're interested in real content, follow VeVe on X.
It has like the signature on the chest, and then it has. Oh no, I think I'm thinking of another one. I think there might be ears coming out, but that might be a different one.
Huh. Yeah, but as I said, well.
Oh, it was this one. Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Mm-hmm.
The signature, I think, was another one of one, but it has ears coming out the side, or I think ears, and then the little X.
Yes. Yeah, Frank, as we said, congratulations, man. Like you deserve that so bad.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you have any questions you want us to cover during this interview, let us know in the chat. If you guys are new to Panini, this might be an interview for you. If you guys are sports fans, might be of interest as well. So we're going to talk to a member of the Panini NFT community, a collector on the sports trading card side of things. So yeah, before we get into it, Jan, do you have anything else that you want us to cover, or?
I mean, I'm hyped about the conversation because, like as I said earlier, I don't know that much about the Panini blockchain, and I'm thrilled to learn more today. So, I mean, should we start the interview then?
Yeah, just before we do, let's answer Adro's question. What is the Mio utility? Suye, I don't think they've announced all of it, but they've mentioned how I think it's for every 2 or 3 weeks for the next 3 years. They're going to be doing something for the Mio group, as well as additional artists are going to be announced with time, because I don't think he's kind of determined who all the artists are going to be. So he's still reaching out to people and kind of making deals and stuff. So I think that's part of the utility. But yeah, he's promising a lot for that project. So if you want to get in on it, there's still a little bit left.
Yeah.
And we got Shankster in the house. Dude, I'm seeing this guy's name everywhere now. You ever like learn of a new car model that you just never knew was driving on the street, and you've seen it for the first time, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere on the road?
I mean, I'm not the biggest car guy, but I know it with like, hey, I see a yellow car, and then suddenly I just see yellow cars. But same concept, kind of.
No, we were talking a little bit about him in True Media, and now I'm just like seeing his name in every space. But yeah, appreciate your support, man. We'll get into things. So,
yes. And
Jan, you want to?
Yeah, and guys, so our guest today is NFTs every day on X, as Josh already mentioned. He's big on the Panini blockchain, but he hasn't revealed his face to the public, so we will just hear his voice today, covering all that stuff. Yeah. And with that said, let's jump into it. All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, great to have you here, man.
Absolutely. I just want to confirm, because the audio was a little spotty for me initially. Am I coming through clear for you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you sound awesome for us. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure audio is good for everybody here.
Nice. So, I mean, I said it earlier, I'm hyped to learn more about the Panini blockchain today, because here on our show, we try to tap into different communities, different fandoms of collecting. And the first question I would have, like, how did you get into the Panini blockchain and into collecting digital trading cards?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I'll just sort of preface like the interview that, I'm definitely, I would like to think like a pretty avid collector on Panini, but I'm not employed, affiliated. And quite frankly, I don't even know if I would say I'm an expert, but I will do my best today to definitely answer any and all questions that come up. I guess sort of my origin story is similar to maybe a lot of collectors in this space. I got in a little after Top Shot really had that sort of rise to the top, if you will. So that was probably my first taste of digital collectibles in an NFT format. And it was sort of like a natural progression, right? If you do NBA Top Shot, I think Panini then launched their NFT project, and because they covered NBA as well, that made a lot of sense for me to sort of diversify. And then, of course, at that time, they then also went on to release other sports like NFL, some baseball stuff, amongst many other IPs that they had. So yeah, I got into the space really because of NBA Top Shot, and then that sort of led me down the path of Panini, and then over time VeVe, and quite frankly, a lot of other projects on Ethereum and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, nice. We yesterday had Paul Campion on, who also is like someone from like the NBA Top Shot community.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
cool to hear that.
Very familiar with Paul. Yep.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. But like, how did like the digital collecting side start for you? Because Panini wasn't like your first stop or your first step into the digital side, right?
Right. Yeah. So my first stop was NBA Top Shot. And I think, it's been a couple years now, but if I recall, it was sort of before the COVID shutdown. I think towards the end of that year, before like COVID had all the restrictions and whatnot, I think Top Shot started picking up momentum. And then maybe I jumped in around January, February. And yeah, I'd had lots of fun on Top Shot. I think it made a lot of sense to me then. It still makes a lot of sense to me now, regardless of what the market is and, the FUD that people will say. I think they do have a unique and niche product. And I think that there is a place for moments. So, I think they're still going to do pretty well with time. But yeah, I started there with NBA Top Shot, and then just because it's already the NBA, right? And I'm an avid NBA fan. When Panini launched their product, it just made sense. Well, if I'm already collecting the video clips in moment form, now with Panini launching digital cards, it made sense for me to at least try, right? So I ended up trying and going for some of the early releases. And I think what catches a lot of people off guard is that I actually took a couple years off from Panini. So I bought like their S1 stuff. And at that time, VeVe actually started doing really, really well. And I actually started doing a lot more on VeVe, and then I started doing a lot more in the ETH NFT community side, managing artists, jumping into projects, doing that type of thing. And it wasn't until maybe like 2 years ago that I hopped back or I'm sorry, not even 2 years, maybe like a year and a half ago, early last year, when they launched their WNBA product. It sort of caught my eye, and that actually brought me back into the fold. So yeah, I guess that's more or less my origin story. Started with Top Shot, explored other NFT projects, including Panini, VeVe, ETH projects, and then everything did exceptionally well. Panini was actually sort of slow for a period of time, so that's why I was more heavily collecting on VeVe and ETH projects. And just about a year and a half ago, that's when I really came back to the Panini side and sort of explored their ecosystem again.
Yeah. And do you still collect on other platforms now, or mainly on the Panini blockchain? Because you've mentioned VeVe, and Josh and I come mainly from like the VeVe community.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I still have my account on VeVe. I'm not terribly active on it. I log in from time to time to sort of see what's going on, what type of updates have been made. But yeah, I would say for the most part, I'm pretty focused on Panini right now. This is where I've been growing my portfolio the most, building up my collection. And there's a couple of ETH projects where if they reach out to me, and they sort of share what they have going on, and I learn about the team, I may jump into it. I don't think it'll be anything like a couple years ago where I was jumping into tons of projects, but now it's like, if I talk to a founder, I see that they have a reputable team. I see that what they're building makes sense. you know, for example, I did hop into a project recently, and that was like the first ETH project that I've bought in maybe like 2-3 years. But it just made sense to me after learning more about the team and the founder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And what kind of project is this? Not to plug anything here, but like just out of curiosity.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I didn't mention the name. I didn't want to show them, but since you asked, it was Quirkies. The founder is Poppy, and I think I mean, honestly, the project is cool, but really it's what I see Poppy doing in the NFT community, sort of like you guys hosting these sessions, connecting people, growing the space. To me, those are the people that I want to be on the side of. Yeah. So for that particular ETH project, it was Quirkies, and it's currently being led by Poppy. I think his X is like Real Poppy or something like that, and he does host weekly spaces on digital collectibles. So very similar to again, what you guys are doing here. And I think like I want to be bullish on people who want to grow this space.
Yeah, 100%. We feel the exact same way too. We gotta look into that project. I actually haven't heard that project before.
I think I heard the name, to be fair, but I haven't really looked into it. But thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious, for someone getting into this space who's a sports fan, just because Jan and I don't come from the sports side of things.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference between NBA, Top Shot, and Panini? Is it really just the videos versus the packs, or how would you explain that to someone kind of coming into the space?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the most stark difference, is that on Top Shot, they have the video format, which they call moments, and then Panini, they sort of rely on, their traditional physical business, which is, trading cards, sports cards, and they've just digitalized them on their platform. So I would say that's probably the main difference. Now, I think, depending on which side you're on, there are Panini Maxis that will give Panini a little bit more weight in terms of they've been in the business for 50 plus years, and they've have this legacy from the print world. So therefore, I guess the argument that is sometimes made is that with moments, it's not to say that they aren't valuable or they won't be valuable, but that's still a developing young market, right? Whereas with the trading cards, right now in the hobby, right, not just Panini, but we're talking Fanatics, Panini, of course, Pokemon, One Piece. I mean, the hobby itself is just growing. I mean, I don't even know the numbers, but every time I look on X or online, there's like a new record being broken, right? So I guess that would be the other difference. And this isn't a knock on Top Shot here, because I think they can get there. But the reality is that trading cards have had years of history and value tied to it. So to me, there is a little bit of a legacy, not necessarily just solely with Panini, but just the idea of trading cards, which I think in some sense may make it more adoptable for people versus moments, which again, I'm not saying won't get there, but like any new product, any new category, it takes time to develop, right? Just like trading cards, like back in the 50s when trading cards came out, I don't think anybody would have said, oh, this, Babe Ruth or, whatever card is going to go for hundreds of thousands. I mean, it came in a pack of bubble gum, right? It took, we're in 2026 now. It took 70 plus years for all that to come together. So yeah, I mean, stark difference is that aesthetically, you have the video versus the card format. But then also, I think there's a little bit of a difference in terms of Top Shot being a newer company, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 years in business versus the trading card industry being decades of, value built into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Also,
if we focus,
sorry about it.
I was just going to say, if we focus just on the Panini side for a sec, how would you kind of explain the platform for somebody new coming into Panini? So like this page, for example, right? I'm looking at, is it 3 different series or 3 different rarities? Like what's the difference between the white pack, Prism, and Select?
Yeah. So, I think that's where there is a little bit of a learning curve because it comes from the physical world. It's basically, there's a number of different product lines within physical. let's call it brands, if you will, within Panini. So you have Prism, you have Select, you have Mosaic, and you know the list goes on and on, right? So you have a series of brands within Panini. How would I categorize this? I guess like think about it in terms of VeVe. You know how you have you have like your Batman line, you have your Disney line, you have your Cartoon Network line, right? So very similar, right? They're all going to be under VeVe, but you have these different brands, or I guess that's probably the proper way to say is that within each sport you have their own brand, right? So and the Panini brands are again Prism, Select, Mosaic, and so forth. For the sake of this discussion, and really sort of like the greater hobby, they generally consider Prism to be the not necessarily top of the line, but in terms of like a mainstream product, that's sort of the king, right? There's Prism on top, and then you have your other brands underneath it. And that's sort of talking to the general product line. There are premium products like Flawless, for example, which is going to be an entirely different tier. But yeah, you know, I would treat them as different brands within the Panini family. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the packs for $150, and I've earlier talked to Josh about like the fact if I'm new to this, I wouldn't spend $150 right away. So could you elaborate on that pack a little bit more, or on that line? Because I mean, $150 for one pack is not. I mean, it's quite an amount of money for most.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you know, this particular product. It's World Cup Prism. So again, you know, Prism being king, there's a lot of demand for it. I mean, quite frankly, there's a couple things going for this particular release. And, you know, if 150 is out of range, there is an upcoming drop on Wednesday for $25. So I think that's my immediate response. Like whether you were to say that today, or if you told me that like 2 weeks ago, when they started previewing this stuff, I would say, hey, if 150 is a lot, there's no reason to, you know, overextend yourself, because they do both a FOTL. So that's what this product is right here. FOTL standing for first of the line. And the reason why it's 150 versus 25, right, is that, let me see here. If you scroll down to details for me right there, or actually, sorry, if you click on content, yeah, that's fine. Let's see here. So up there, right under guaranteed, there's going to be one FOTL exclusive base parallel card out of 11, 9, 7, and 1 of 1. So in this case, the reason why, you know, this pack, it was 10 pack limit per collector, and it sold out within 18 seconds. When I checked and we could jump to the secondary shortly here, but just, you know, staying on this particular page, the FOTL exclusives, right? Those parallels you cannot get in the $25 packs. So in that sense, you have in the upper right-hand corner there, the Maradona card. That's the Nebula. That's the 1 of 1. So we have already seen. I'm just going off memory here.
Maybe a stupid question here, but how do I spot that it's the 1 of 1? Because of like the animation, or?
Yeah, so that's where, again, you know, having sort of that card background is helpful, because basically each one of these cards have their own design, right? So that's how you know which, you know, design is tied to which mint, or you know, which parallel is tied to which mint, right? If you actually, let's see here. So for example, just looking at this off the top here, you have your Nebula on the right-hand side. Next to it, I believe that's a Canadian one, which is the Maple Leaf parallel, followed by the Messi and the Old Glory. That's the USA parallel. And then Lamine in the Aguila, which is for Mexico. So they did it based off the host nations. And then if you actually scroll, if you click on the Panini logo in the upper right-hand corner for me.
This one?
Yeah. Yes, please. And let's just scroll down. Let me see if it shows up here. It says all-time top sales. So if you scroll up, to view all right there under Caitlin Clark, under Jazzcar. Yeah, let's go there. Let's just go to weekly, right? So these are the weekly top sales from that line. Yeah, if we just scroll down right there. Yeah. So yeah, if we just pause there, so you'll see that there's a Lamine Yamal that sold for 75,000. That's 10. That was a perfect mint, right? So that's minted to 10. Spinotron, a big collector, had purchased that one. And then underneath that, we have the Ronaldo that sold for 70,000 to another big collector. That's one of one. That's the Nebula. Yeah. So basically, if you click on that card, yeah, if you just go ahead and click on that card for me. So on every card, you'll be able to see like what the serial is, right? In the upper right-hand corner there, to the right of Cristiano Ronaldo's name, you'll see it's one of one. So you'll see, you know, on each card, it'll tell you like what the mint is, what serial you're getting. That's basically how you would know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The design is beautiful. They I want to buy some packs like right now. Damn.
Maybe the $25 ones for now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, so the thought is, right, if Ronaldo sold for 70,000, the Lamine Yamal was pulled by another collector. I think he listed it for 525,000. I don't think he's gonna sell though. I think, you know, he's a pretty hardcore collector. He pulled it last week and he listed it. I mean, I guess if somebody wants to pay $500,000 for it, he'll take it. But if not, like, I think he's gonna, you know, pretty much, yeah, definitely be happy with that in his collection. And the Messi is still in packs. So, you know, that's why if we click on Marketplace, and then go to packs right there. Yeah, perfect. And then click on soccer for me, please. So right now, those $150 packs, right? The floor on it is $332. So, you know, it actually reached about $390.
Or 11.
Maybe like late Friday or something like that. Oh yeah, 411. Yeah. And then, you know, obviously when the Lamine Yamal got pulled and probably Ronaldo, that's when there is a little bit of a, you know, price, correction or a little bit of a dip, you know, when the hits start coming out. So it's sort of like any platform, right? Like people are chasing certain things. And then once it's hit, I guess that's the benefit of collecting digital versus physical, right? Is that in physical, these companies sell millions, thousands of boxes. And unless they go on X and flex it, you know, it may or may not be pulled and you would never know. Whereas on digital, all this data is transparent, you know? So now you're not going to pay $400 for a pack if all the big cards are pulled out, right? So that's definitely an inherent advantage to digital that I would say, you know, for physical collectors, that's something that should definitely be considered.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point.
But
I see.
Sorry, Josh.
No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question would be like it's probably into value wise, it's probably like in the physical card collecting world, right? That like 5% of the cards are like really, really valuable or can be really valuable, but the other 95, for example, because someone pointed it out here in the chat, are probably not valuable at all in terms of like monetary value. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not necessarily unique just to digital or physical cards. I think we could probably, you know, point this at any type of collectible in any space where you're always going to have maybe 10-15% of like the top line, which is like, you know, when I was heavy in VeVe, it was the Walt Disney statue. Not everything, and Disney, it was sort of at that time when I was involved in VeVe, it was Disney stuff always went to the top. You know, like it didn't matter what it was, Disney always went to the top. So I would say it's a fair assessment, but I don't know if I would isolate it to just, you know, trading cards. I think that's sort of the general lay of the land across the board, right? It's that, you know, the players that are in high demand, like Messi, Ronaldo, Lamine, LeBron, Caitlin Clark, etc. Like they're always going to command very large dollars. I mean, this is digital or physical. And then, yeah, you have the other stuff, which, a lot of times if you're ripping, people say this all the time, it becomes like a volume play, because if you rip one pack, the likelihood of hitting something is pretty low. So a lot of the rippers that, really rip and get these hits on Panini, they're ripping in volume, knowing that they may get washed on 7 or 8 out of 10 packs. They're hoping for that 9th or 10th pack to hit. And
it's like
everybody
with
has,
Pokemon too.
right, exactly, just like in Pokemon. So that's why I say it sort of transcends like all collectibles, is that, it is in any space sort of like, you have one Charizard or you have one Mew, and it's like, then you have these other Pokemons and you're just like, what am I going to do with this like $5 card? You know what I mean? But that's just sort of the game that we play in this collectible space. Yeah.
How do I get back to that marketplace page again where we were seeing the sales data?
Yeah. So if you go to data dive there, yeah. And then, yeah. So this is weekly, and you could always like, put in different filters if you want to go by sport and stuff like that. Yeah.
I wanted to see the LeBron card. This looks crazy.
Yeah. So this is where like, this is a perfect case of how physical bleeds into digital, right? Is that in physical, the kaboom market has just gone bonkers. It's like, if there's a card that you see in physical that has been getting tons and tons of headlines for sports, it's definitely been the kaboom card. And if you look on the sales history, if you just scroll down to, if you click on history right there, perfect. Yeah. You can see sort of like what it's been selling for. It's ranked by top sales. So why don't we click on recent sales just to sort of have like a maybe more accurate, sort of snapshot. So this is basically, in terms of what it's looked like, right? And, this is where I'm sort of kicking myself for getting back into this in 2025 and not getting back in, 2023 or 24, is that, come on, guys, this is the numbers, right? This is not me, trying to pump or doing anything like this. Is the real data, which is like, people were buying this in 2024 for under 5,000. And recently it sold for 31,000 to Raspy just 3 days ago. And I can't confirm this obviously, but I'm going to guess that serial number 7 that says $1, I'm going to guess that was probably a 5-digit sale that was just done offline. Anytime you see $1, that's generally what it is, that, for multiple reasons, people may decide to deal offline with somebody if they want payment in a different format, or maybe if they, a lot of people even package deals of digital plus physical. But yeah, this is one of many examples where people who believed in the product, when others didn't. So that's why I don't have any, salty feelings about it. It's like, hey, you guys had conviction when I did not. I'll be the first to admit that, so even as I see that, I know back then I wouldn't have paid 3,000 anyways. You know what I mean? Because it's just
right.
Like, I didn't have that conviction, but now seeing it, I'm like, that it makes me excited, even if that's not my card or my opportunity to take. Just seeing, oh, that's where the market has gone, is amazing. And like, we see it not only across like LeBron or Kabooms, you sort of see it across multiple cards, right? Like you see it across multiple sports. Like guys that are selling in World Cup right now, I can't believe it. A lot of these cards, like they were picking up for under $50, and now they're selling upwards of $300 to $400, $500, and it's just like, and it was last year that they were picking up these cards. It's just, the opportunity is there, obviously, but you sort of have to have an eye for, what those cards may be and what the growth potential is.
Risk, obviously, as you pointed out earlier,
right? Right. So, in that sense, like I would also sort of temper all this with, you don't want to just treat it like an investment. You do also want to enjoy this stuff. Like for me, I collected physical. So I guess, the earlier question, how did I get into digital? Yeah, I guess digital shop. But even prior to that, as a kid, a young kid, 5-6 years old, my parents were buying me trading cards. Like, so I guess you could say it started as early as that. Throughout my teenage years, I was already collecting. And then early adult, life gets busy. You start dating. You find out like, oh, it's pretty fun to go out drinking with the boys and stuff like that. So some of these hobbies, like, sort of go to the side. But that's sort of where it started. It's probably, when my parents probably bought me my first pack of cards at like 6-7 years old. And, I put my fingers and probably crushed all the corners and did all the stuff that, you're not supposed to do. But that's like, that's probably what got me into this. And I think it's important, that I say that, because, as much as investing and making money is fun, I mean, honestly, I would still do this if I wasn't making tons of money on it. I would still do it because I just enjoy the product. I enjoy the cards. I enjoy, the collectability of it all. Like it's something that, quite frankly, I just enjoy and passionate about. Right. So, I don't want to just make everything about investment, because you're absolutely correct. There is a risk involved. But, so always, buy whatever's within your means. Don't overstretch yourself. And make sure you're having fun with it, right? I think that's a big part to this.
Yeah, for
having fun.
For me also, or for me and Josh, the community part of
Yes.
this collecting journey is also really, really important, because I can totally resonate to what you've said. Obviously, I hope that my VeVe collection appreciates in value over time. But even if not, I'm stoked to have a partner statue in my collection.
Yeah.
So, and also the community is just mind-blowing amazing.
Absolutely.
But Josh, you wanted to show something, and after that, please give us a view into the Panini blockchain community, because you are really into it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna show some of these because you have me thinking of the days in elementary school when you're playing, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon with your friends at recess. And then, you fast forward to today and all those cards that you used to just throw on the ground and they're worth money. But I was digging around too, and I had a whole binder of just hockey cards.
Yeah.
I got stacks and stacks and stacks of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't even looked into them. I don't know what I have. They're all mangled as well, but you got me thinking of that. Bringing back some good memories. But yeah, it's kind of crazy just to see where it went, or where it came from, where it is now. But it only, I mean, if you were involved in that in the physical space, that should only excite you more for the digital, because it's
right.
I mean,
Yep. Yep. And the trend that we're seeing right now is a lot of physical guys who were I don't want to say anti, but they were they're so immersed in physical that they couldn't quite see how digital made sense. They're slowly coming on board. And I think that's also what makes me, really excited and bullish about all this, is that it's not just me telling myself and, even within the community, it's not just 500 of ourselves, waking up and, pounding our desk saying Panini NFTs, Panini, it's there's real big box breakers, guys that spend millions of dollars on physical product. They're starting to diversify into digital. So yeah, it tells me that definitely having that physical experience and, having that knowledge, I think a lot of those collectors are they're not going to leave physical. I really dislike that argument and statement of oh, it's either this or that. I think they're going to do both. It just makes too much sense. And I think that's the conversation that, I get. It's fun to be polar, and I think that gets a lot of views online and stuff. But maybe the more vanilla answer that everybody could probably accept is that people are going to eventually do both, and it's not one or the other. It's going to be both, and I think there's advantages either way.
Yeah, it's just another vertical and another extinction of the hobby, right?
Right.
But you've a couple of minutes ago talked about the last drop of the $150 packs, and you've said they sold out in 18 seconds. Am I correct there?
Yeah, they sold out in 18 seconds, and I said this to some of my friends within the community, and I'm sort of joking, but not really. It's for those 18 seconds, it felt sort of I blacked out, in the sense that it went live, because it's just so in high intensity, right? It's sort of I mean, in the early days of VeVe, and it's funny because I've been talking to more VeVe collectors, and somebody said this to me, and I'm I have not heard that term since early days, and they're oh, so it's sort of gun. And I was yeah, it's sort of like that in the early VeVe days where you had to just sort of pound that button within the app. I mean, within Panini, it's a swipe of a button. Well, you have to click and then choose how many you want, and then swipe the button, and it's like for those 18 seconds, because it was just circling, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. You know, it took a little bit longer than usual, but yeah, within 18 seconds, I think like the total number was just shy of 14,000, like 13,900, something like that. It sold out and like it was gone, you know, and immediately I think there were some early people who exited maybe around 250, but yeah, you know, as you guys saw on the screen there, it was testing 400-ish. I think, you know, depending on what hits comes out, that's always what sort of determines the pack price. But, you know, obviously we had a little bit of a price correction after Yamal and Ronaldo got pulled. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I can totally relate to that feeling because I started in early 2021 on VeVe, and back then we had those times. Yep.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, just those were crazy times.
There's no kind of wait list or anything about like that on Panini right now.
No, not right now. I mean, I think that's something that they've talked about, and I think something that they will roll out. I will say, you know, what they have done in the past is that, and I think it makes a lot of sense, they do reward people if you hold specific sets. They used to call it Collector's Corner. So basically, if you held a set of, let's say, you know, like S1 Disney, you know, from a particular line, like let's say you know, I'm trying to remember off memory, like the Venticular card drop that they did. Let's say if you held all of those within VeVe, then you would get a free pack, you know, from an upcoming drop, right? So that's what they used to do on Panini. They would say for each sport, if you hold this set, you're going to receive or potentially receive. They don't guarantee it, right? But they just simply say you are part of this exclusive Collector's Corner. And part of that are perks like airdrops, which were the free packs. More recently, they decided to do away with that. And I think it actually, I know some people weren't too happy about it, but to me, it made sense. And I'll tell you guys why. The reason why I didn't really love Collector's Corner is that it would always change every 6 months or so. So therefore, what we would see is for 6 months, that particular set was very sought after and valued, right?
And drops in price probably.
Exactly. So you're paying, so more or less, you're not, and so that's not really collecting to me, right? You're buying a ticket or you're buying a membership into this VIP club for $300. And the minute that the club shuts down, that set literally goes from 300 to 100, and the people are selling out of it. That says, oh, you're not really, you're not collecting the cards for the cards. You're just buying a membership. So I'll give kudos to Panini. They got rid of that. So instead, what they do now, and I think it's very collector centric, is that for this recent drop, they basically said, if you're a top 100 holder for soccer sets, you get 4 hobby packs, the $25 packs. And then if you're top 50, you get 3 hobby packs, so 3 of the 25, but then you also get 1 first of the line pack, the 150 pack. So, you know, the value that they're giving here is $100, and what is that, like $225 for the top 50. And that's just the retail face value, right? As we all can see here with the market right now for FOTL at 330, I think the hobby packs, I mean, there's a lot of them, so maybe it jumps to 40 or 50. I mean, they're still dropping an enormous amount of value, right? So they've moved to this model where it's more set based, and you're rewarded if you hold sets now. So I think that's pretty cool because it encourages collecting.
Not the flipping side of it too much, because that's something I really hate on VeVe sometimes. Like people just trying to get like the chaser and dumping all the other stuff.
Right. So yeah, that's why like it makes a lot of sense to me. And you know, I think other platforms should probably take a look into the model and see if it could work for them. Because like you said, people don't dump stuff, and you know, it gives liquidity to stuff that maybe people don't typically chase sometimes. You know, like it gives, like, I have cards that I could sell for $2-3 that I wouldn't even get offers on before because people need it to complete their sets, right? So to me, it's win-win, right? It's, you know, as a community, we're encouraging more people to collect and hold. And then as somebody who might have, a big collection and may want to, move some stuff from time to time, I'm not going to have to be buried with this player that, plays only like 5 minutes a game, and like rightfully so, they shouldn't be really valued for a lot of money, but they also shouldn't be like something that I'm stuck with forever. Right. So, this gives that liquidity to the low end market, which I think is a big problem, for Panini and a lot of marketplaces, is that you pointed this out earlier. At the top end, you're always going to have that action. People are always going to want Messi. They're always going to want LeBron. The question is, who's going to want everybody else? There has to be a market for that, right? So I think that's something that, Panini has, so far, they've made this adjustment, and I've seen some positive change as a result of it. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Sounds good.
Mhm.
We have a question in the chat, and it's good to see you, VeVe Meister. We haven't seen your name in a little while. He says that I'm new to all of this digital sports items. My wife introduced me to the FIFA stickers, and I learned about how big of a market there is. Is there anything FIFA related online now? So we were talking a little bit about the World Cup pack that dropped not long ago, which is on screen right now. But how would you kind of answer that question for any new soccer fans coming in? I'll go to the soccer page here, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah, no, perfect. So actually, if you can click on the Panini logo in the upper right-hand corner, yeah, let's see here. Then let's see if you scroll down, because the view's a little bit different. Or I'm sorry, click on NFT store. My apologies. And
packs?
NFT packs, yes. And then if we scroll down, let's see here. Let's go ahead and click on the one with the timer on the left-hand side there. Perfect. So what I would say, and I appreciate the question, I would say if anybody's interested in FIFA and World Cup, I think the best opportunity is on Wednesday. They're releasing the hobby packs. The only difference between the hobby packs and the first of the line packs is that first of the line had 4 specific parallels, right? But the big, like some of the big chase cards, like the 1/1 black parallel, the up to 10 mint gold, that's available in FOTL and these hobby packs. So, you still have access to those as well as the inserts. So again, what I would say for anybody who's interested in FIFA and World Cup, I think this is the best opportunity because it's $25, rather inexpensive. It allows you to get access to packs. Up to you if you want to flip them, rip them. A lot of people in the community recommend maybe doing half and half. Maybe flip half and make profit. So then, when you rip, you're basically ripping for free. It's a strategy that many members use. But I would say this is the best opportunity because it gives you the newest product. And Panini did recently. So when they announced this drop, they said that the maximum order per collector was going to be 30. Now, given that FOTL sold out within 18 seconds, they said, wait a minute, too many people have missed out. I think they looked at their data, and yeah, it's great. If you got in and like now you're holding these packs that have doubled in price, like you're stoked about it. But there's a population, and we're not just talking new collectors. We're talking about collectors who also are very big on Panini. They didn't get in, right? So Panini decided to actually lower the maximum from 30 to 15. So I would say, the best thing to do is on Wednesday to go for these packs. And then again, you could sort of develop your own strategy around like if you want to flip, rip, or whatever it is that you want to do with the packs. I think that's the way to get some exposure. Now, in addition to that, you could always go in the marketplace and you could always search as well, meaning that if packs aren't your thing, you just know that, you have to have like a Messi card, an Mbappe card, or what have you. You could always go in the marketplace and you could always search for these players. That's always an option as well in terms of looking at the singles market.
Maradona, that's the guy who would always dance when he was warming up for games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of the right person.
Yeah.
I mean, you've talked about ripping the packs. I would assume there is like a pretty cool animation or something like that to that, because that's definitely something we miss on VeVe, like a unreal. Guys, I guess I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say, I mean, I'm always on the side of like things can be improved. But yeah, I do think it's a pretty cool experience, opening the pack, and then you have the ability to open, reveal one card at a time, or, in FOTL, for example, it came with 5 cards. So like you could do reveal one at a time, or you could reveal all 5. But yeah, it definitely is like a pretty, fun experience that you could sort of, go through the process, and then people will leave like the legendary or the epic, which is going to be the 1 of 1 or the up to 25 mint for last. So yeah, there's definitely different ways that you can go about it that does make ripping pretty fun digitally.
Yeah.
And so if I wanted to buy a pack right now, can I just put my credit card in and buy and rip, or do I have to like sign up with the whole wallet and go through that whole process?
Yeah, so you do have to basically set up an account. So definitely, again, for anybody that does plan to go for it, I would recommend creating an account. Panini does do KYC, so you are going to have to submit some sort of verification. So you want to at least give yourself 1 business day for that to go ahead and clear. But once you're cleared, after that, then you can deposit crypto. You could pay with credit card. Entirely up to you. How you want to go about paying for the packs or singles. Once your account is set up, you could just easily go in from the available marketplace and just buy packs. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And
VeVe Meister was also in the chat just asking, who are we speaking to? And I do have to apologize. I completely forgot to put his name in the title, which I just updated. But
it's all good.
Yeah, for anyone new who just tuned in, we have NFTs every day with us. So thanks again for joining us, man. But
yeah,
Jan.
Absolutely.
You've talked about KYC, getting in with crypto, etc. And also, I think it was in March that the Ethereum bridge went live, so that like the Panini cards went out of a closed ecosystem into an open ecosystem. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct. So Panini launched their bridge. I want to say it was in March, and right now, the only IP eligible for that is they have an entertainment IP or collaboration with a project called Bad Eggs. So that can currently be bridged over. From my understanding, what they wrote is that that would be the preliminary test to make sure that assets are bridged properly and everything works as it should. Once that testing is complete, then that's when they'll open up other collections for bridging. So that's the extent of what we've been told and sort of my knowledge of it. So there is a bridge. It is available for that Bad Eggs collection, but we're sort of TBD on everything else at this time.
Okay. And what is your take on your personal opinion on that opening up like the whole ecosystem? Because that is something that will come soon to VeVe as well with their collect chain, self-custody and all that kind of stuff. Because like from my understanding, I think over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months and years, there will come a lot of people into this space that have never experienced anything crypto related, and
Right.
there are a lot of risk in terms of self-custody and all that kind of stuff. So would love to hear your take on that.
I think there's a lot of layers to this. Yeah, I think there's a lot of layers to this. I think as a collector, having self-custody, it's quite critical given the landscape of NFT platforms where, just within the past 9 to 12 months, we've seen so many marketplaces shut down, and we're talking big marketplaces. Like, during the peak of the NFT, I think there was one by the name of Nifty Gateway. They were working with all the big artists, and they brought in maybe billions. I don't know, what their revenue was, but it's like, companies like that should not go out of business given how much money they made. I know the NFT market has shrunk significantly and spend is down, but it's like, wow, like if those companies can go belly up, and we got to look at other NFT projects, right? And I'm not throwing shade here at any projects, but I'm just going to speak as somebody who bought into it. I bought into Recur, and they had multiple IPs, right? Like it seemed pretty promising. and they went belly up. I mean, I'm not crying about it. Like it is what it is. I knew the risk. But that to me, as good as things may be within any one system, there is no guarantee. And I'm not going to hold a company to guarantee it, because that's not fair either. So all I could say is, as a collector, self-custody is critical. Whether it increases value or not, I need to know that if you're not there tomorrow, what I have purchased, what I own, continues to exist. So at least for me, I think self-custody is just like a fundamental thing that has to happen regardless of impact of value and all that stuff. I think self-custody, at least that's again something that I personally value. Aside from that, I think what you said was probably correct. The digital space will continue to grow. So therefore, being in that ecosystem on, let's say, Ethereum, and available to be listed, if not on Ethereum, on whatever crypto that it's going to be based on, if it's sold in other marketplaces that support that, I do think that in theory expands your collector base outside of what is currently Panini Digital, VeVe, like inside sort of this wall garden, if you will. I think that's what people generally say. I will, though, and I talked to a lot of people about this. I actually think being inside a wall garden like VeVe, like Panini, has in some ways isolated these projects from sort of the decline of other, NFT projects, right? So, I don't want to just like say, oh, everything's going to be so great when we, bridge over. I do think there have been significant advantages. I think some of the reasons why, I went so hard on VeVe early on was that I was able to just buy, gems directly from the Apple Store. It was just super easy. I didn't, I had crypto, but even then I wasn't like this super, crypto dude that knew how to transfer it from this wallet to this. It's like, it's complicated, right? Like for the everyday person, like it's a learning curve. But I think VeVe having the ability to buy gems through the Apple Store, that allowed me to pour in thousands of dollars and be like, yeah, this is easy, right? Like this being inside this ecosystem. And same thing with Panini, because they allow me to buy with credit card and, deposit funds pretty easily. I think there's advantages, to also being inside this walled setting, because it doesn't, you're not so impacted by these outside changes. But yeah, to get back to your original question, I do think it's going to be for the betterment overall of collectors. And I think to have the digital asset be owned and, taken off, and it's something that I know is mine, I think that's going to be a critical piece. And yeah, the hope is that obviously in that new marketplace, we do get exposure to more and more collectors.
Yeah. I think that will certainly happen. Also, like I personally believe when those marketplaces or those like systems open up, that like a lot of the liquidity from like the Ethereum whales and stuff can move in more easily, which would probably have like a significant impact on price. But I mean, risk and potential reward is always something we need to keep in mind on that front, right?
Right. And yeah, that was actually going to be my third point, and it just slipped my mind, is that, yeah, the fact that when we move into, these other marketplaces, we now get to play in another playground, and we get to play with people who are more maybe crypto-centric, and they have bags of crypto that they're willing, there are people, and I've talked to them where they don't want to get into Panini because they don't want a KYC, because they want to be anonymous, because they, have their crypto bags. And I totally get it. So for them, they love the product. They don't necessarily want a KYC. So the idea is, if and when it's available on, let's say, OpenSea, they would be very open to buying it and going through that route and securing the assets. And there is certainly truth to what you said as well, which is, a lot of these crypto buyers, they may have purchased ETH, Bitcoin, whatever coin it is, when it was really, really cheap. So their sense of value and how much they're willing to pay is a lot different than somebody that is dealing strictly in fiat, where, you see a card that, like Ronaldo, it sells for 70,000, and, that's like real money crypto is real money. Shouldn't say that, but it's like it's fiat. So like, you have that, I guess that tying it there. But with crypto, it's like, maybe somebody out there, I don't know what the conversion was for that 70. Maybe it's like 40 ETH or something like that. Like maybe somebody out there says, hey, I'm willing to do 50 ETH. Like, my cost basis for ETH is, pretty insignificant. And I think this is worth 50 ETH. Like I'll do that. Like that can happen on OpenSea. That's not currently happening on, the current platform, because it's not, that's just not how people are currently programmed to look at it. And, how they're currently spending. It's generally, going to be with their credit card and funds that they deposit in.
Yeah, fair point. Josh, any question on your end? Because otherwise I would have another one.
Yeah, are you a gamer? Would you consider yourself a gamer, or like how do you see the whole gaming side of stuff playing into the sports card trading cards? Because I know like NBA 2K is a huge thing, and with them now starting to digitize assets like this, I mean, there's the potential where you can incorporate those into video games too. I mean, you're now talking about reaching a whole different type of person, but people that arguably understand this stuff even easier.
Right.
Right. Like buying the digital assets games and stuff.
I think that makes sense. I haven't gamed in a while, but growing up, yeah, I played a lot of 2K. I played a lot of Madden. Played a lot of Tony Hawk. I'm probably aging myself, but it's I played
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. Let's go.
Yeah, like these kids don't know, man. But yeah, it's I definitely played my share of games, and I mean, if I were to answer that question honestly, I would say I'm probably not smart enough to tell you how it would actually work within a setting like 2K. I think that there's something there, but I think I haven't picked up 2K in a while, and two, I'm probably just not, I'm not in that world enough to tell you like, oh, would somebody want to display this card that they purchased within their virtual, 2K room and showcase it there? I mean, I think in theory it sort of makes sense to me, but yeah, I don't know if like how that would all work. So I don't want to like throw something fluffy and paint it as, yeah, I think that could be something. I think there's something there. I just honestly I'm again, I probably can't really wrap my brain around like how it would get there, but yeah, I think there's an opportunity there if it can be tastefully done. I'm sure it can. I don't know exactly how that would be executed.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Don, what were you gonna say?
Like while we have like the Lionel Messi in the background, for example, is like the highest sold card? Is that the Caitlin Clark one, or is there a card that was sold for more?
On chain, it's the Caitlin Clark card. If guys did offline transactions, which I know they've done, I don't know, if any deal has eclipsed 175. But I think, yeah, on chain, Caitlin Clark was the biggest one, and that happened last year. And then probably within the past like 30 days, we've had 2 Wemby sales, or I don't know if it was 2 Wemby sales. I remember there was a Messi sale for like 86,000, and then there was a Wemby sale for like 100,000 or something like that. So definitely within the past 30 days or so, there's been some really significant uptick in terms of like the dollar amount of some of these deals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked a lot about the platform itself, what kind of packs you can open, what kind of different variations you can pull, your view on the future of that. But we haven't talked about your own pulling game. So anything, any like real special pulls, special moments for you on the Panini blockchain?
Yeah, for me, I've definitely have ripped, and I'll be honest, my rip luck is my algo is not as good as others. So okay. I will say, so that's why I don't, I definitely say like, hey, if you want to rip and have fun with it, like go for it. But I'm also not going to paint a rosy picture because it hasn't been necessarily rosy for me. I haven't really pulled any big cards, but that hasn't discouraged me, right? I think like what that tells me, like, you know, what my particular strategy is that I would rather buy packs, move them, you know, for a decent chunk of profit, and I then turn around and use them to buy singles. So that happens to be my particular strategy because my pack algo is just not good. You know, like I see guys in like the Discord posting like Ronaldo, Messi, and like I open my pack and I look at these 5 players and I'm just like, I don't know any of them, you know, like, and it's just like, so for me in particular, with my strategy, I'm more of a, you know, I'll make profit on the packs and then I'll reinvest into singles that make sense to me. So, you know, I am heavy on Caitlin Clark, for example. I do have some decent Wemby holdings, like a gold Kaboom, that I added last year. Yeah. So for me, that just seems like, if I'm going to pay, you know, let's say like the Caitlin Clark, for example, I paid maybe 60 days ago, I paid 11,000 or something like that, 11,000, 11,500. I can't remember the exact number. And it's a collector that I've had a relationship with for many years now. So I just hit him up. I'm like, hey, you know, you have 2 of these. I want to increase my exposure on Caitlin Clark. Can we, you know, figure out a price? And he worked with me. And, you know, again, everybody has a different strategy. But for me, it's just like, if I'm going to spend $11,000, like, I want to make sure I get the card that I want, you know? And the downside to that, right, is obviously by not ripping, I can't hit like the Messi 1-of-1 Nebula that's probably going to sell for 150,000 or more than that. Like, I don't have a shot at that, but that's just sort of like my take on it, right? Is that I also don't want to turn 11,000 into $1,000 like by ripping and not getting anything. You know what I mean? So I would rather, you know,
here, right?
Right. So yeah, that it's I apologize for like the long-winded response, but yeah, for me, it's like I've definitely ripped. I've ripped my share of like NBA Prism. I'm like a big NBA guy, but my collection has like a little bit of everything. But I've ripped like NBA Prism, NFL Prism, and like I don't know, like the pack gods do not favor me, you know. So yeah. I'm like, I definitely am more of like, okay, let me. You know, for example, like this FOTL release, right? Because it came out 150, and let's say it sells for 300, just to keep it like an even simple number. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take that 1,500, buy those 10 packs. I'm gonna, you know, let's say sell it for 3,000, and I would rather use that 3,000 to go into like a Messi card that I really want. You know, that somebody's already pulled, and you know that's just my particular strategy. But again, downside is I never have a chance at that big card. But you know, I guess like I just tell myself and I sort of FUD myself is that, look, bro, you're not gonna pull anyways. So it's all good.
I feel you so much on that. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm into VeVe like more than 5 years now.
Yeah.
And like 1.5 months in the months of May, I had my first very big hit. I hit like a Yoda secret rare first. Oh no, it's not a first appearance, but a Yoda secret rare, 1 of 250, and that was like my first really big hit here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what it brings me back to.
I just bought over the years.
Yeah, that brings me back to like when I was collecting heavy in VeVe, and it was initially when they launched the comics and like they had all the different covers coming out, and it was like, man, it was exciting, right? Because you know you have to open on VeVe, right? There's no way to keep it necessarily sealed, like you have to open it, right? Yeah. So like I was buying those comics, and it was like, man, there's a lot of like commons, I think rare, ultra rare, and like occasionally maybe like 1 out of 50. And I don't know, maybe that's a good hit right now looking back at it, but it felt like 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100 comics I would buy, I would finally get a secret rare, you know? So, but even then, I think at that time, even on VeVe, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go buy the secret rare. You know, I think it's more economical for me to just go out and buy it. You know, so I'm a little bit of a like I'm sort of simple in that sense. Like I sort of assess the situation, and you know, it's not quite as fun. So people tell me all the time. They're like, dude, you know, like just go rip more packs. It's fun. It's like, I don't know, you know, burning money doesn't really sound fun to me, right? So it's, you know, different things, different strokes for different folks, you know.
And some people just have like crazy luck. For example, my best friend, I got him into VeVe, and I was like back then when they released Amazing Fantasy 15. So first appearance Spider-Man, and I just hammered at him like, you have to buy at least one, and he was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, let's see if I can do that. And I sat there with my plastic hat to have like the best Wi-Fi in the world. didn't get anything on drop, and he texted me, hey, yeah, I got something on the playground while I was out with my kids, and like 15 minutes later he just wrote me, yeah, hit the secret rare, and I was like, buddy, like the secret rare currently sits at like 12, 13, 14K or so. But,
it's the new accounts, dude. I'm telling you, you know, like obviously we could never prove this, but it's something with the new accounts. They have a juice algorithm or something, because they're always getting something, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that. Yeah.
Wood says hasn't hit a secret rare comic since VeVe on VeVe since March 2021. I think I've landed one secret rare ever. So.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
Jan, do you have any more questions on your list? I think I'm through mine right now.
I mean, wait a sec. Oh yeah. So like, what would be like a card on the Panini blockchain you're really, really looking out for, like that you haven't gotten in your collection right now? Or do you already have them all? I mean, also good for you.
No, there's definitely cards that I have. I guess like they're just at a point that they're out of reach, that I'm just like, you know, like I don't even think about them, right? Because like, for example, I would love, even though he lost in the NBA Finals, I would love to have a Wembanyama gold, you know, out of 10 rookie card. I just don't have an extra 100,000 lying around. You know what I mean? So I think like there's definitely cards out there that I want. I do think that probably at this stage of the game and where my collection is at and where my capital is at, I think I'm probably going to have to, you know, sort of work with these collectors to see if maybe we could trade some pieces around. But yeah, to answer your question, I think that there's definitely some big cards out there that I don't necessarily have in my collection quite yet, whether it be like LeBron, Curry, Messi, sort of like, you know, yeah, just really these, I don't know, price them over like 50,000 plus type cards, you know, like these grails.
Grail of the grails.
Right. Yeah. So I would say those are the cards that are on my list. But I'm not like, you know, because there's only 10 of them or one of them, it's not like something that you could really grind at every day, right? It's sort of like, okay, it's there, and if there's a path forward to obtain it, I'll, you know, see what I could do to get it. But if not, you know, that's okay. There's plenty of cards that are great in sort of like the mid market that I play in, that are like minted out of 25 out of 49 that I'll go for. So yeah, I mean, day to day, you know, I always look for stuff that I think has value, right? So people are always seeking liquidity. People are always trading out of certain things. So I think, you know, I'm more like day to day. If there's opportunities where people want to get funds for this upcoming pack drop and they price something, you know, pretty decent, I'll probably, you know, purchase stuff like that. But like the big cards, I think it's like a sit and wait type approach. But yeah, there's definitely like big gold out of 10 parallels that I would love to again have. I think quite frankly they are within reach. Like there's some LeBron Curry stuff that's probably in the 10 to 15,000. I had a chance to buy it maybe 30, 60 days ago. Maybe I should have bought it given where the market has been going.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, it's also like, it's 10 or 15,000, you know? And I mean, I'm not poor, but I'm not rich. And it's like, it's one of those like, yeah, you could do it, but so yeah, I definitely have those cards that are like, you know, I want them. I think like sort of the stars just have to align. But yeah, there are definitely some chase cards out there for me. Yeah.
What's your What's your opinion on what Candy's doing right now with all this MLB stuff? We have someone in the chat asking if you collect the MLB cards, and Candy's making some moves in the space. They just switched to Solana, have a new, very impressive CEO. Have you been keeping up with what they're doing?
Yeah, I've definitely have seen sort of like the news and announcements like with Tad taking over and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty exciting. You know, again, I'm one of those guys where I think a rising tide lifts all boats, you know. So in that sense, like my hope is that we all like sort of rise to the top, whether you're Panini, Top Shot, Candy, VeVe, like everybody, right? I think if one platform is doing well, it just grows this digital space that much faster. So I'm encouraged, you know, by sort of hearing that they were basically this defunct, you know, platform with tons and tons of complaints that I was seeing them daily. And then it seemed like ever since Tad came on board, there's been a different shift in the attitude towards the platform. And I think, you know, I'm not involved, but like just from what I gather and what I hear from others, is that he's been meeting with some of the top collectors. They're going to have some sort of update to the rollout. So personally myself, I have zero exposure to Candy. So I wouldn't be able to tell you like, you know, that I really know what's going on with them, but just like what I, you know, outside looking in, it seems like things are moving. And yeah, I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case because I have friends that definitely have bags there that I don't want to see that go to zero. And I think, again, it just like anytime one of these platforms shuts down, like I know there's this crowd on X that's like, yeah, that's because we're better than you, blah, blah. I think it's like, dude, that's so short-sighted, right? Because like all that signals to the is that thousands of people just lost millions again because this platform went under. And, you know, how would they ever try whatever platform you're, you know, a bull on, you know, if they see, you know, all these other companies shut down? It's like, they're not going to come to your platform either. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess for me, yeah, again, outside looking in, I don't have any exposure to Candy, but I'm encouraged, you know, I'm encouraged that they're making moves. I'm encouraged that they brought in somebody with, you know, a pretty strong resume. And, you know, Tad's been talking a big game. So I guess now, you know, what probably everybody in the space is just waiting for is like, now you said it, now show us, you know. And for me, I say that excitedly. I'm not saying it spitingly, like I say it like show us, because like we could use it, right? As an overall community in this digital space, like we could use more winners here, right? Like the more people winning, then everybody wins, right? So yeah, you know, that's sort of the extent of my involvement and knowledge on Candy. I would say that, look, fingers crossed, it returns to, you know, what it was before, and hopefully, you know, everybody's made whole and the platform takes off. You know, I think that's the best case here.
What do you normally use to stay updated with all these platforms? Are you hopping from like Discord to X, or like where do you normally stay?
Yeah, you know, I think like I'll probably, for if I'm in a particular project, then I'm definitely in the Discord heavy, you know, because that's just sort of like the day to day. You could sort of get the sentiment, you know, sort of see where the community's at on stuff. So projects that I'm involved in, I probably, you know, am going to be in their Discord. I mean, even projects that I'm not super involved in, like I'm still in the VeVe Discord. I never left it, so it's still there. But you know, I think anybody that was into like that last NFT cycle, if you look at your Discord, you're probably in like 300 plus servers, or maybe I'm just the crazy one, right? Because I am in 300 you know, like
I'm the same.
Yeah, so
I'm the same.
yeah, I you know, day to day, if I'm in a project, I'm probably in that Discord daily. And then, you know, just general NFT space, like I'll probably gather that from X. I mean, I also try to peruse like news sources online, but I don't think there's like a lot of like really good news sources, right? So like covering NFTs, especially, yeah. So
that's the reason I ask, is because we have been working on a project where we're trying to centralize a lot of this information under one roof.
Nice.
And I think
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
having a creator like yourself on board would be very, very helpful.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because like you don't really have this centralized knowledge base, right? Which I guess like, you know, if you're super in tune with it, it gives you this advantage, because like if you put in the legwork, then you can obtain it. But then if you think about the general public, not everybody's going to want to put in that legwork or know how to. So yeah, if you guys are putting something centralized together, I think number one, that's awesome. And two, you know, if I could contribute in a way that you guys think it's going to be positive for it, then I'm happy to definitely look into it, because I do think the market, needs that right now, right? Is that especially for the NFT space, like it's like digital collectibles, it's not as hot as it once was. So people are, obviously shifting away, and there's just like now I have to piece things from X, really. Like I have to see what founders are saying, what spaces they're joining, and I don't always have time for that, like there's so yep.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. If you have 10 minutes after this call, then let's run it by you just to get your feedback and stuff. But
for sure.
Yeah, I do think more of that's going to happen, is more of these platforms are going to start coming together, but not just in our space. Like this was actually just a talk in the gaming space last week as well. Unreal Engine did a whole unveiling event of their next engine, Unreal Engine 6. And they had someone come up on stage and pretty much talk about, well, there's two routes that we see the gaming space going. It's either Roblox just eating everybody up, or it's a lot of these companies coming together, and instead of trying to, poke at each other, everyone comes under one roof and really starts to help each other grow.
Right.
And that's also kind of why I brought up the gaming question earlier as well, is because I think we're going to start seeing all of this stuff kind of merge more and more, even with crypto too. Like, with all this AI, all these AI agents, it's like you're going to need a way to verify the AI agents, and how are you going to do that with a crypto wallet? So it's all starting to come together.
For sure.
So yeah. Jan, any?
Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 like interesting questions in the chat here from D. What does he think of the Top Shot collabs with VeVe, for example, and other communities? What's your take on that?
I haven't seen that. So if I don't know if you guys have seen the Top Shot and VeVe stuff. I don't know if he's talking about Top Shot and VeVe or the top
VeVe from Gary Vaynerchuk.
VeVe. Sorry, VeVe's been on my mind. So yeah, so is he referencing the Tops collab with VeVe, or because you had said Top Shot?
Yeah, the recent one that was published like 2 weeks ago or so.
I mean, look, I think, again, anytime an NFT project like originate as an NFT project continues to penetrate the market and now expand into physical, I think that's a plus. We're starting to hit the mainstream, right? So I think VeVe did it. I've been seeing a lot on X about, I think Pudgy did a TCG thing. So I think that's awesome. Look, the more it gets out there, the more that it gets collected, the more that it adds credibility to these brands. And I do think that they will recognize that their origin started in this digital NFT space. That's where Pudgy came from. That's where VeVe came from. So I think it's awesome, and not just like, not just to, again, like spill like all positive stuff, right? That, they're coming out. But I think also the other side of it is that not only are they putting it out there, but it's selling out, so that's like the real, measuring stick, right? It's not just being able to put product out, but there's actually enough demand that it's actually selling out at Targets and like online and all that stuff. So I think it's phenomenal. And, I know a lot of people have different feelings on Gary Vee, but I'll tell you something that nobody can take away from him, no matter how you feel or think about him. He is always grinding, so that is something that, like him or not, he's there every day showing up and putting VeVe out there. So, I mean, I think it's just like, you got to tip your hat off to the guy, really feel, because he's just really doing the work, so I think it's awesome. I'm not collecting it. I bought some of his VeVe stickers that he put out with like Steph Curry last year. I still have some of those sealed boxes in my office. But yeah, I think overall it's definitely a plus.
Cool. So, I mean, no questions here in the chat anymore that we haven't covered yet, because I think we have covered a lot. And I think this comment here says it pretty clear. This has been an awesome breakdown regarding Panini, and shout out to NFTs Every Day for putting us all on the game. Man, I learned so much today. I mean, I got into this discussion knowing like close to nothing, and now I feel like a little bit overwhelmed, but I will definitely look into that side of the hobby a bit more, even though I'm not the biggest sports cards fan. But like, your excitement definitely spilled over to us. At least I can say that for me. And yeah, from my end, thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it. I appreciate you guys inviting me on as well. Definitely.
Before we end things off, are there any other topics or things you want to discuss that we haven't asked you yet?
Fair.
No, I mean, you guys have been more than generous with your time, and we covered a lot. So I'm not employed by them. I don't get paid or anything to do this. So this is just me giving up my time and just sort of sharing how I feel about the platform and what my experiences have been. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to unless again anybody in the audience wants to raise a question, but I think you guys have been super generous, and hopefully I've been thorough enough. I know there's a lot to cover, and I'm sure there's still a lot of questions and unknowns as you guys go on the website. But yeah, I guess my parting comment would be, if you guys have questions, you guys can follow me on X at NFTs every day. You could always shoot me a DM, and I do my best. Anybody that hits me up, I definitely do my best to get back to you. So if there's questions that arise from the audience, not necessarily right now, but later in the day, later in the week, prior to the drop on Wednesday, feel free to shoot me a DM, and I'll definitely do my best to get back to you guys. And yeah, I'm very grateful for the time you guys gave me today.
Awesome,
Thanks,
man. Well, thanks again for taking the time. And for those who did enjoy, make sure to hit the thumbs up and share the stream. It goes a long way. And yeah, as he said, make sure to follow him over on socials, NFTs every day over on X. And yeah, guys, that's been today's show. We'll catch you next week, 1 p.m. EST.
Bye-bye.
Let's collect. We collect. Collectors going digital and Jack collects.